All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Adam Carswell, who's an entrepreneur and podcast host. Adam, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, Timmy. Happy Tuesday to you, and always a pleasure to hang out and spend some time with you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, sir. Adam, actually, Adam and I go back
You can make it sound like we go back. We might as well go back a decade, even though it was only like a COVID decade, right?
yeah, yeah. Because man, I remember I was looking for an internship in college in the real estate field, and I was just doing a lot of activity on LinkedIn. Me and Adam connected, and so this is not the first time I have met him, and he has helped me out and a lot. And he's an awesome guy, so I'm excited to hear more about him and his dreams and goals. Anyway, let's jump right into it. If you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and some of the things you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Honored to. Thank you for the opportunity to do so. And one thing I definitely do enjoy doing for fun, and I'll probably follow up with you again on this after we're done, but is connecting young professionals or people who are going through a transitionary period in their career, just helping connect them and get them to the next level. I remember what it was like when I first got into real estate, for example. Didn't know anyone except for how to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad twice. And that was kind of what like sparked the fire for me and many other real estate pros. So that just comes to mind for me right off the top of right out of the gate here with you, Timmy. If you're out there, you're looking to make a transition, you got some grit, some hunger to you, like this guy, Timmy, reach out to me. Happy to connect you with some entrepreneurs that are looking to grow their business and bring on top talent. Also a little bit about myself, originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Lived there till I was 18, then went to college in Western Pennsylvania, played basketball and ran track there for 4 years, got my degree in communication, continued my studies in Belize, Central America, where I also continued to play basketball at a collegiate and professional level. I got my master's in business administration in Belize, moved back to the US, worked at W2 in the corporate world for only about 2 years before realizing this is not my calling. That's when I made that real estate transition. And the coolest thing I learned is, it's a very non-traditional sector business, whatever you want to call it, where you can go from 0 to 100 in less than a year if you're connected to the right people. And it's probably like that for a lot of other businesses too, but I found that to be specific with real estate. It's insanely relationship driven. And that's clearly what Timmy and I like doing. That's why we're podcasters. I have a podcast as well. And then really just fast forwarding from that moment when I made the jump from the corporate world to real estate, that was about 4 years ago. I haven't looked back. And now 80 was the 80-20 rule. As an entrepreneur, you do a lot of things, but 80% of my time goes to the future growth and development of RaiseMasters, the #1 mastermind for elite capital raisers. I work with Hunter Thompson over there as well, us in ASIM Capital. So it's been a great journey. For more on RaiseMasters, you can go to raisemasters.com. Having a blast over there. And that's what also brought me into Timmy's neck of the woods recently when we got to hang out in person. We were just doing our in-person RaiseMasters retreat in Austin, Texas. So that was a lot of fun too. Timmy, I'm trying to get my my life story down to like 2 minutes, and I think you're helping me out here. I think I got close to it. So I'm going to flip it back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, man. And I will say Hunter Thompson and ASIM Capital, they're the real deal. Hunter came and talked at a multifamily mastermind I am in, like, I think a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And he's just an awesome guy, got his book, and raising capital is one of the foundations of real estate. So if you are looking to kind of pave your way to financial freedom, real estate's a great way to do it. Raising capital is a great place to start. So awesome. Adam, thank you for that. Tell us a little bit more about your motivation and what gets you up and keeps you going every day.
What gets me up and keeps me going every day is being able to have moments like this where we get to have a conversation and record it and hopefully change some lives. Literally is what got me going today, as we joked before the call. And for those of you who really know, if you don't know me, you might not be able to tell, but if you know me, I kind of look like I just woke up. So we're getting there. We're kind of shaking off the dust and the rust right now. But it's another opportunity to be great. Another opportunity to say, okay, let's see what wakes me up to be great and stay motivated today. So I heard a really good quote recently too, Timmy, and I think I find this challenging sometimes, again, as an entrepreneur and someone who just loves going and hustling and just trying to do whatever you can to get to the next level every hour of your life, to the point where sometimes it does drive the people around you a little bit crazy. You always got to be aware of that. But I heard someone very influential, and I'm just going to put this guy on everyone's radar right now, Myron Golden. If you go to makemoreofferschallenge.com, I think out of anything I've seen the past year, that challenge can change lives drastically. So anyways, I heard Myron on a show lately, or some recording that he did recently. And he's like, I'm in the business of community service. He's like, what do you mean community service? Like, he's like, I put out free content, and arguably free content that is better than a lot of people's paid content. So when people come to pay me, they say, wow, he's giving me this much for free. How much is he going to give me when they pay me, or when I pay him? So I was just like, man, that's a powerful statement. I've seen it happen for multiple clients of Mr. Golden's. I hope you enjoy it. I've met him once, so hopefully I can give him a free plug like this. But I just want to, for any podcaster out there, Timmy, yourself included, myself, sometimes we forget, like, we are putting in a lot of work doing this, providing free content and doing whatever we can to change the lives of the world. And that counts for something. Like, don't forget that you already are very involved in community service just by being a podcast host. And I think that I can't even really remember specifically what the question was, but that's what came to mind for me. So for all my content creators out there, remember, you are in the business of community service as well.
There we go. I like that because it's easy to sometimes, look at, maybe we're not getting as many views as we want, or maybe we're not doing this, or maybe we're not doing that. But it's like, if you helped one person, if you helped 5 people, if you helped 10 people of your audience of 10,000, like, really change their life, and then they go on to help, 10, 15, 20 more people. It's just like,
I think our story is actually a good example of it too, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, I completely agree. Elaborate.
Came from, as far as I know, I mean, I'm sure I had a few other people listening to my show, but the only person that stands out to me that listened to specifically to my interview with Grant Cardone was Timmy. He enjoyed it. He reshared it. And I said, who the heck is this guy? Let me reach out to him. And next thing you know, I found someone who was pretty much on the same real estate journey that I was and still am on. And it wouldn't have started without picking up a microphone and with the intention of hopefully changing a few lives along the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. Well, awesome. Adam, tell us about your dreams, goals, and vision for your life.
My dreams, goals, and vision. This is, I feel like you could kind of round it into one answer. I think, one thing with life is, I think our goals can change. Our goals can change in the matter of like 3 months sometimes. So we like, even we're coming into a new year here. Everyone's goal setting, whether they did their goal setting in 2021 or they realize, oh, it's a new year, time to do it. I think taking some time at any point within 3 months of the new year coming, or 3 months of the new year starting, it is helpful to write your goals down. But with that being said, I guess I just want to let everyone know, there's a weird pressure that if you don't do that, then all of a sudden your life is in trouble. And I just want to reiterate to anyone listening right now, if you haven't done any goal setting, don't beat yourself up on it. I found myself realizing recently, there's a few people in my circle who are already doing it. I'm like, man, I'm so far behind. I can't believe I haven't been thinking that way yet. I'm like, wait, I'm just choosing to put that pressure on myself. No one says for a fact, oh, if you don't do this, you're going to be a failure. So I just want to let everyone out there know, there is no right or wrong answer really to, I would argue, anything in life. It's all about perspective. So with that being said, I look at this book here that I probably need to dive back into, but it says, where will you be 5 years from today? And there's a few different versions of this book by the author, Abraham Maslow? Let me confirm. Yeah, I think it's Abraham Maslow is the author. Very fun book. I actually got recommended it by someone that I know in Austin. And so to answer that question, actually, Timmy, I did jot a few goals down the other day. I'm going to see if I should remember them off the top of my head, right? But I think 2022, or even moving into 2023, we'll say within less than the next 3 years, one major goal that I'm striving for, Hunter, as I mentioned, from RaiseMasters, we're both striving for. We're closing in on 150 members. We would really like to see RaiseMasters hit 1,000 members within the next 3 years, 1,000 capital raisers united. That's slowly but surely become my family too. As you guys know, I'm a competitor. I've played college athletics. Even in college, I joined at 2 different points in my college tenure. I joined frats. I got kicked out of the first one, and the second one, I said, I'd rather save this money, and instead of paying to have friends, I don't know. I was always an independent guy. Couldn't really get down with the frat life. I also had my teammates and stuff, but I say all that because I feel as though now, being in this position I'm at with RaiseMasters, it's been the closest feeling to a family, competitively. I just think of my basketball teammates throughout college. That's how I feel with this squad. And we actually have a lot of former and current athletes in the group. And I say all this because it's a really powerful feeling once you find a group like something like RaiseMasters. So maybe another shameless plug, but if you're thinking about joining, not to sound corny, but a family of people all hungry, competitive, moving their business and lives to the next level, come join us. And our other goal as a group is to have $1 billion raised, I'd say, within the next 3 years as well, which I definitely think, again, we can do that if we hit 1,000 members. So a little over 100 million this year. I'm not sure the exact number, but that's one major goal. I'm trying to think personally. My wife and I are very driven by what the new age has to offer. And what I mean by that is I walk 30 feet every day to go to work. She sees that. The original work model of like if you go back centuries, the actual original work model was work from home. Like, I don't know when the office thing became a thing, but everyone's kind of going slowly back to what was once the norm. And she sees that, she's a nurse. She went back to school to get her accounting degree, and she's going to become a CPA here within the next couple of years, hopefully sooner. And I know once she becomes virtual fully, that's 2 of us. And we've got the world to see, regardless of what any travel restrictions might exist. We're going to power through them. So that's definitely, I'd say, within the next 3 years. I'll give you just a few goals. That's one: RaiseMasters to 1,000 members. Help my wife get fully liberated to be remote. And what else? I mean, I'm sure if you give me a moment here to dig through my notes and find my goals, I can share them with you. But those are some major ones. And in fact, if you're going to ask some more questions here, I am going to see if I can find that and circle back to them just to polish it off. So thank you for the question.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I love those 2 goals, and I love that they're like focused in areas of your life, and you're like, okay, I want to get RaiseMasters to 1,000 people. I want to help my wife get fully liberated, but you're also open to that. Your goals can change every 3 months. You don't need that focus. You don't need that clarity. I do have some things I'm shooting for, and I'm open to the change if that's what life brings.
Yeah, I got a few more. All right, now here I got a few more. A few more for you. I know you got more questions for me too, but I'm just looking at this. I don't know how this is going to happen. But I wrote by the year 2024, I want to win 6 more championships. I don't know even what that would look like, but I have won a lot of championships in the past, and so it's always fun to win those. So I don't know, that's the beauty of goal setting, guys. People got all these like crazy ways you do it. My take is just write it down. I guarantee by 2024, I'm going to win 6 championships or something. I don't know how, but I wrote it down. So in the past, anytime I wrote it down, it happens. So there you go. I want to rock a stage with thousands in the crowd. I'm working on my DJ skills right now. Actually, that's what I'm doing in my spare time, is studying toolroomacademy.com. Check it out, toolroomacademy.com. I love that record label, and looking forward to having a part-time association with them. Thank you, Timmy.
Awesome. So rocking the stage with thousands of people in the crowd as a DJ specifically, or could it be as something else?
I think we could do a whole hybrid approach. I'm pretty comfortable public speaking, but in particular, the reason I wrote that down was from a DJ perspective. That was an epiphany I had recently, which is, I think within the next 3 to 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm going to be a father. It's just the way life is looking. And I know if I hit age 50, I look back in my life, I have DJ'd in the past, just not like what I would consider. If I went to shake hands and talk to someone who's an actual DJ and they found out my skills, which is pretty much Spotify and tweaking the effects, they'd be like, dude, you're not a real DJ. So I want to get to that real DJ status. And I just know if I never pursued it seriously, by the time I hit 40, 50, whatever, for example, I'm 30 right now, I would feel like I didn't live my life to the fullest. And that's like what's most important, is being able to get those dreams out instead of letting life, take full control. So we're fast tracking it. That's how that's the secret too, is you find a direction you want to go. And if you can pay someone who's already gotten there to get you to the next level, I've seen it happen countless times now with RaiseMasters, for example. There's almost no better way than paying your way into getting, saving 5 to 7 years on your growth curve. So that's my approach here. And after we're done with our interview today, that's actually what I'm going to be doing is doing some more Tool Room Academy studying. So
yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I love it. And I also think you hit on, I read Who Not How, and I've been talking about that a lot on the podcast. And that's literally the concept. Finding that who in your life that can eliminate the like how that's going to take you 10, 15, 20 years. It's like, just find somebody and they'll help you out. So
you gotta reiterate that too. And I think you've probably heard me say this before, and credit where credit is due. I got this concept from Hunter. Identify whatever direction it is you want to go with your life, business, pleasure, whatever. In my case, the DJ thing, I picked one direction to go. In regards to marketing, sales, entrepreneurship, I listened to 2 podcasts. Find 1 or 2 people in the direction you want to go and go all out on everything that they're putting out there, instead of listening to 1,000 voices telling you how to get somewhere. You'll get there a lot faster if you can basically become obsessed with one person and mimic them. And then once you go far enough down their rabbit hole, maybe you want to change your mind, then make that shift, make that pivot at that time. But that's definitely a way to fast track, become obsessed with a couple people.
Absolutely. What would you say to that person who is sitting there, maybe they're 22, maybe they're 28, maybe they're 35, but they only make $2,500 a month and they're living paycheck to paycheck, but they want to invest in people in their life to take them to the next level and simply don't have the money? What would you say to them?
I would say figure out a way to get on the phone as soon as possible with Tim Douglas, because he probably knows someone who can help you out, especially with a daily podcast. Watch this guy's network blow up. I'll bet I'll put $1 million down on that one. You can reach out to myself as well. And if you don't feel like reaching out to either of us, that's fine. My next recommendation, again, from what I have observed directly in my life, I'll give you guys, I got to go back to the makemoreofferschallenge.com. I think if you're feeling stuck and not knowing where to go, whatever it may be, what I am getting out of my studies of Dr. Myron Golden, I've been, for an example, I've only listened to his interviews and his show for the past month. I've identified someone who, from a sales perspective, has just blown my mind. I'm like, I got to become this guy. So actually, I'm going to go back on what I said a little bit. Those 2 podcasts that I said, the only podcasts I listen to, which are the Marketing Secrets Show and the Frank Kern podcast, which are great shows. I actually haven't listened to them at all for the past month, because I said, oh, wow, Myron Golden, I'm going to go all out on everything he has. And even within this past month, I'm like, whoa, people do not realize what they're sleeping on with this guy's stuff. So if you are feeling stuck in your life, I would recommend devouring, in particular, especially because I'm experiencing it for myself right now, devour Myron Golden's content. If you're feeling stuck, you'll all of a sudden $2,500 a month, you'll be like, wow, I've been limiting myself, period.
Yeah. I love it. Well, awesome. Tell us about what really caused you to make that leap from corporate into real estate entrepreneurship.
It started with a little bit of what some people might call like a side hustle or moonlight business. My buddy and I started a t-shirt company, and that actually happened because of just like a random, it all really did start with kind of a random series of events. Our first client was someone who was actually a client of mine where I was working. Looking back on it, I was probably risking it a little bit. I don't know. I was leveraging my company's database to make sales of my own, but I was long story short, there was a need for custom t-shirts where I was working, and no one was doing it. So my friend and I started creating them, and that snowballed, and we had a successful run. But I think my biggest takeaway was we were really putting in a lot of time and not getting a lot of money back. Looking back on it, we did finish in the, I guess you could say, in the green, though, in the net positive. And the biggest thing was we were making money for the first time. I was making money in my life and not having to worry about what split was coming back to me. It was like, whoa, this money that we're making is all ours. This is kind of a cool feeling. What else could happen if I get into a world where, I don't have a boss anymore, or I'm my own boss in the world of entrepreneurship? And that's where we find ourselves today. Is you definitely, what's the phrase? You eat what you kill, right? Is that what they say in the world of entrepreneurship? So that's when the light bulb went off, was just kind of starting a side hustle. And I encourage anyone out there who is in the world of just kind of getting paychecks, figure out a way for you to get paid directly by whomever your client may be, and see how it feels. And if it feels good, pursue it. If it doesn't feel good, I guess keep working. It's all right. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah. There we go. I love it. And tell us about if you had any limiting beliefs when you were making that transition. How did you deal with them?
I think the beauty of that moment in my life is I was closer to your age. I want to say I was like 25 or 26. So I would probably, by nature of life, be a lot more cautious in making a transition like that now than I would have at a younger age. I think at a younger age, you just kind of like, you really got nothing to lose. So I'm grateful to say that I don't think I really had many limiting beliefs. I listened to, if you're looking for a good audiobook, You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. I listened to that seminar, man, I don't know, between 10 to 20 times probably before making the jump. So because the reason why I say that is because of listening to stuff like that, I didn't have any limiting beliefs. The limiting beliefs that were coming into my life, and I know will come into anyone's life who's getting ready to make a jump like that, they're normally going to come from your friends and family, especially the ones that aren't entrepreneurs, specifically the ones that aren't entrepreneurs, actually, because they don't know what it's like. And all they know is, normally I'd say there's a little bit of a shift now. All of a sudden, entrepreneurship is a little bit more popular. It's a little bit more cool, but the general stigma is, oh, wow, entrepreneurship is really hard. Most people fail. If you do that, you're screwed. You're going to go bankrupt. You're whatever. You shouldn't do it. You should just get a good job and work hard and grind for 4 decades. That works. But what is it? Wealth and finances, they love speed. I'll use this analogy real quick and then tie it all back in. If someone has $1 million, are they rich? The answer is, it depends. If it took them 40 years to make $1 million, chances are, nah, they're probably not rich. If it took them 4 days or even a year, chances are they are rich. So what does that say? That means that money and wealth loves speed. So that I say all that to go back to your question, which is, were there any limiting beliefs? And I don't know. I thought I was going to be able to tie those in. I hope somebody gets something out of that, because it is a life-changing way to think. But looking back to the limiting beliefs answer, no. The only ones are coming from your friends and family normally. So just be ready for that. You have to be ready to be like, no, I'm going to do this, and don't let them talk you into making the change. And normally within like a couple of weeks, if you want to write it down and get a little bit of a plan, okay, by September 2022, I'm going to leave this job, write it down or something, hold yourself accountable to it. But know that when it comes down to the wire, the universe is going to throw some stuff at you to say, are you sure you want to do this? And you got to keep pushing. So that was in my head. I saw that being a lot more succinct, but I think it still gets the message across.
Hey, there we go. I love it. If there were 1 or 2 people that you could meet right now, and this can be a type of person or a very specific person that would really help you take the next step towards Let's call it winning those 6 championships or rocking the stage as a DJ. Who would they be and how would they do it?
Wow. Well, you answered something about this earlier. I'm looking at who, not how right now. I don't know how they would do it, but I probably could say I know who it is that could make that happen. So without a doubt, the who, I'll start with rocking the stage, because that's basically who I'm paying right now. The guy's name is Mark Knight. He's an English gentleman. Welcome to Tool Room Radio. He's got a lot of DJs under his record label. I do look up to him in many ways. I know he's a father and a husband, and it's cool to see that, because I think the stigma of the entertainment industry is sometimes to be a DJ, you can't, be married and have kids. So there is hope for me once I do have kids. It's not like I have to quit. So anyways, Mark Knight, he's the man. He's the one who would get me to that level. And then as far as the 6 championships, that is interesting, because it depends on where the championships come from. Like for me, what counts as a championship, I'll be completely honest, once a year, my friend, we're going to be doing this Christmas time. And we do it every year. My friends and I get together. There's about 20 of us, and we play a Super Mario Strikers tournament on the GameCube. And the amount of hype and energy that gets built up coming into that tournament, I have won championships in college, and even when I was in Belize, we won a couple national championships. So I know what it feels like to win a championship. Winning that with like the people that you've known your whole life feels just as good. So I'm going to put that in there as something that would count. So who do I need for that one? One, I guess, is just my homies, my friends. And then as far as winning something like athletically competitive, I'd have to figure it out. I want to look into maybe like a new sport. For example, I played basketball. I ran track for about 3 years of my life. I played handball, team handball, when I lived in Washington, D.C. That was a lot of fun, and we won a championship there. So I think finding another sport, or even just like a rec league, for me is going to be the key. So that I just realized, didn't really answer the question, but I thank you for asking it, because I never really thought about who's going to be the person to help me get these rings.
Yeah.
I guess myself for now, but I don't have an answer for that one. If anyone listening right now is a coach that's competing in something, and you want someone who's a competitor, reach out to me. Maybe I'll play on your behalf and we can win something.
There we go. Dude, you should do some volleyball. You would be really good.
Volleyball is fun. I've played some rec league.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll find some rec league volleyball. I could definitely do that. Thank you for the idea.
Of course. All right, man. Well, now we're going to jump into our Thriving 3. First question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
Favorite book, like many people do, it's so hard to pick one. One I'm going to recommend. And yes, in a way, I guess this does benefit me, but I think it could benefit both of us, whoever's listening. If you check it out, Raising Capital for Real Estate. Go to raisingcapitalforrealestate.com. If you go down our rabbit holes far enough, eventually you're going to be asked to apply to join RaiseMasters, but who knows? Maybe that'll help you out too. But yeah, really, I know so many people now. I know 130 people that have read that book, and it's like, whoa, this thing has changed our life. So check out Raising Capital for Real Estate by Hunter Thompson. It's raisingcapitalforrealestate.com. And the other one coming to mind for me right now, I recently did a book review on this one. Yeah, I got to go with this one. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. And what I really liked about this book is, in my opinion, there's a lot of basic principles of the masculine energy and feminine energy that, like, not only are we not taught, it's not even like mentioned normally in most of our lives. And being able to see how the essence of men and women, masculine, feminine, like just from its core, how it works, it really clears up a lot of question marks when it comes to relationships. in my opinion. Like, there's a reason why a lot of married couples, whatever, like have issues and struggles. It's because we don't know like some of the basic fundamentals and principles. And I think kind of the, society likes for us to not be tuned into this knowledge because it creates more chaos. And when there's chaos and division, then whoever is trying to run a population, it makes it a lot easier. So if you're looking for a new way of thinking when it comes to your relationships, read that book. And especially men, check it out. And then women, if you kind of want to figure out how your man works and how he's thinking, and you find out he's not as crazy as you think, if you read that book, it'll clear up a lot of stuff for you. So The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. Very good read.
There we go. Love it. And what's one way you like to take care of yourself?
I love getting a good sweat in. I do a lot of running. That kind of carried over from my track career. I didn't do distance, but I've always had a lot of joy in going for a good run, a lot of memories created from it. Listen to good music or podcast, whatever, while you're working out. You look back on life and you just remember, you just remember like certain places that you went for a run. It's kind of cool. So like, I remember all of my runs recently in Austin. It was awesome. So fitness is key. If you can work out 5, even 6 days a week, it'll really structure your life. And I let myself slip a little bit during COVID, and within the past probably 6 months, I've made that shift back to 5 or 6 days a week, and it's like it's just so key. Get in shape, y'all. Even if it's just a little bit even if it's just walking every day, got to do it.
Love it. And what's one action step you can take right now to move towards some of those championships you want to win, maybe with the sports team?
Oh man, I think I gotta do some better form of outreach now too. See, this is it though. I wrote it down not knowing how it was going to happen, and now how it's going to happen is Timmy's going to be asking me every time I see him. He's like, "Dude, how you doing on the championship?" So that's what you need though. You need positive peer pressure in life to hit a lot of these goals. If you choose to write down goals, remember I said I wouldn't kill yourself if you're not writing down your goals. But I think to answer your question is, I think I'm going to look into some volleyball stuff, man. You bring up a good point. I think I might go that, because the volleyball is also low contact too, which is awesome.
Yep.
Good way to, it's different than playing even like flag football, which is a lot of fun. But I know I have a lot of friends that have gotten hurt playing flag football, and getting any type of altering injury after you're done with your like core career, I just feel like wouldn't be fun. So yeah, volleyball is a good recommendation.
For sure. Well, awesome, man. I got one last question for you, and it requires a bit of pretext. So
let's do it.
You know how there are people on the planet that have a fixed mindset, aren't willing to accept help, and aren't willing to accept change. And sometimes they die like that. And then other times they change to a growth mindset, willing to accept help, willing to accept change. In your opinion, what is the catalyst that causes that change?
I guess I'll have to look at, oh man. Okay, so let me take a moment to think about this, because I'm sure, as you know, we can think of many people in our lives who haven't made that change, and it seems hopeless. It seems like they're never going to make that change, and we want it so bad for them because we've seen what has happened for ourselves. So I think what makes that shift normally, it's one of two things. Something chaotic happens in their life. And looking back on my life, that is actually, if I had to trace it, that is what happened. Long story short, I remember the light bulb came on for me at about age 18 or 19 when I had terrible grades my freshman year in college, partied way too hard, and just did pretty much all the wrong things. Typical freshman year, but just not reflective of who I am and who I was going to become. So my parents were like, "Look, you're not going back. You're not going back next year. You're going to community college right here next year, unless something changes." And it struck enough fear in me, because I don't know if they were being serious or not, but I took it as though they were. that was enough for me to change a lot of things. And I really haven't, from a hunger perspective, I haven't looked back since then. So that was kind of chaotic. The other thing that I've seen happen with others is other people leading by example and someone going, wow, I didn't realize that person who's in the same boat as me made that happen. I just, I didn't know that was possible. So people seeing others live out their dreams, as you would like to say, is also enough to have that epiphany. I'll just use my buddy Aaron Eiler as an example, who hosts a podcast on our platform, Dream Chasers Ground Zero. And I had my homie who's got a company in Austin, Robert Beardsley, on the show. And Rob is, I think he just turned 24, no older than 25. Aaron's a few years behind him. And listening to Rob's interview on our show was enough for him to be like, wow, I don't need to wait till I'm 30 to do any of this. I could start doing it right now. So either somebody's seeing someone in their lives do something big like that and realizing I can do it too, or something chaotic happening to someone. Those are the two things that make that switch.
Yeah.
And I wish there was a way to force that change to happen, but there's not. So
yeah. That's honestly, it's part of the reason why I'm asking this question. I want one of the 7 billion people on the planet to just give me the answer, where it's like, boom, you can make it happen. But
dude, if you can find the answer to that, let me know and write a book on it.
I'm gonna keep asking until I find something. But well, awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show. Is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
I just want to thank you again for all that you do. I know running a podcast, and especially a daily podcast, I'm starting to see there's some similarities like it, even in the world of DJing, and really just in the world of being someone who is, I don't know, I guess you could say providing entertainment for others, whether it's educational or whatever. The consumer doesn't realize how much work goes into it, to be honest. And I meet so many people that are like, hey, I'm going to do this. Hey, I'm going to do that, especially podcasting. And they get started and they go, wow, I didn't realize I was signing up for a new job. And doing it the way you're doing it, the daily style, that's beyond a new job. That's like taking on 3 new jobs. So I just want to take a moment for everyone listening right now, and myself included, to say thank you, Timmy, for all you do to take your life and your listeners and guests' lives to the next level. It's a job, it's a grind. So keep it up. It's probably already paid off for you, and it's just going to 10x from here moving forward. Shout out to Grant Cardone. It's going to 10x.
Yeah. Shout out to Grant Cardone. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, it is a lot of work. So thank you.
Yeah, man. That's it. Now, only other thing, I guess, call to action would be if you like what you heard here today, I've given you guys a couple resources. I'll reiterate them now. Check out raisemasters.com. Check out makemooreofferschallenge.com. And if there's anything specific that I said that you'd like to follow up on, you can reach out to me directly. My email is adam@carswell.io. Would love to help you in any way I can.
Hey, there we go. Well, you guys heard him. If you liked what he had to say, or you liked any of those challenges or any of the concepts at RaiseMasters, make sure to hit up those resources, hit up Adam, and let's make your dreams come true, as well as everybody else is involved. And last but not least, send this episode to 1 to 2 people you know need to hear this message and need to hear about what Adam is doing. Shoot us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we're out.
All right. Thank you, Timmy.